Were there any questions from your homework lesson you wanted to go over before we got started? No? Seem pretty good with those? Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this today then. So it says the equations can be used to find missing information. And solve problems. Alright, so looking at number one, it says the charge for a microwave repair visit was $81.21, including tax. If the tax was $6.70, then how much was the repair visit? Alright, so in here, annotating, what's important in that first sentence? What's important in the first sentence, Aiden?
The microwave repair visit was $81.21.
Including tax, okay? So, and the charge for it was $81.21. If the tax was $6.70, what's important in that sentence? Go out. Okay, and then obviously we wanna know how much was the, repair visit. So what do we know? We know the tax, right? How much was the tax? How much did it tell us the tax was? Emma?
$6.70.
$6.70, right?
Yep.
And it also told us what? Told us the total. What was the total? No? Yes. $81.21. Alright, what do we need to know? What are we trying to find out? Why are you, there we go. What are we trying to find out? William?
How much the repair visit was?
Okay, that is what we are trying to figure out. So far, so good? Thumbs up when you have all of this part written down so far. Don't go ahead, just once we're done with this, plus you, give me a thumbs up. Okay, so we know that our total is $81.21. We know the tax is $6.70, right? So if I wanted to essentially write an equation, I'm just gonna put X for my unknown. Alright, and then I'm gonna put equals 81.21. Because we know what our total is, right? It's 81.21. We know that we're gonna have to do something with X and $7.60. Right? So I'm gonna put that here because I know that's essentially where it goes. Now I have to figure out, am I adding these two to get that, or am I subtracting these two to get that? Stand up if you think we're adding. Okay, have a seat. Stand up if you think we are subtracting. Okay, have a seat. Now, did I ask you what we're doing to solve this problem, or did I ask you what our problem is going to look like? So, those of you who said subtract, technically you are kind of right, because that's the process we're gonna do to find what X equals. But our original problem, because we're looking for the cost of the visit plus the tax, which gives us the 81.21, right? So here it's gonna be plus in our original. Now, when we solve this problem, what do we have to do? We have to subtract, right? So we're gonna subtract $6.70 from there, that's gonna cancel. Subtract $6.70 from there, bring down my X. Stand up when you have your answer of $81.21 minus $6.70. Alright, have a seat. So what did you get when you did 81.21 minus 670? Ronnie?
I got 51.
Yes. So X equals $74.51. Now what does that $74.51 actually represent in our problem? See that? The what? But what does it represent? Because what are we trying to find? Remember, we wrote it. What do we need to know? Christiana?
How much the repair visit cost?
Okay, so the $74.51 represents how much just the repair costs by itself, not including the tax, not including anything else. How do I check to make sure that this is correct though? Because you always want to check. Delilah?
You can add the tax thing, like you can add $6.70 back to $74.50.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna plug this in and I'm gonna do the math real quick. And I ended up with $81.21. So I know I'm correct, I know I did it right. Alright, and then over here, I'm gonna say the repair visit cost $74.51. Thumbs up when you have all of this written down. Go Troy. You got it. Thumbs up when you have this done. I think I'm seeing some star jumps in your speech if you don't wake up. You know how much I enjoy your star jumps, right? Alright, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 says, according to CBS in 2010, the average cost of a Super Bowl ticket was $3,509. This is $441 less than the cost of a 2015 ticket. How much was a ticket in 2015? Alright, so let's go in and annotate. So what's important in this question? Mikhail? I have no idea what you said.
The average cost of a Super Bowl ticket was $3,500.
but make sure you tell me what year, because that's important, right? Alright, so 2010, the average cost was $3,509. Alright, what's important in the next sentence? Camden,
$441 less than 2015, and how much was the ticket in 2015?
and then obviously our question. Yep. Alright, so we know the cost of the 2010 ticket was what? The 2010 ticket cost how much money? Zoe R.
3,509.
Alright, so 3,509. Alright, what do we know about our 2015 ticket? Delilah.
It was $441 less than 2020.
So the 2015 was less than, or?
Was more,
Say it again?
more than.
Yes. Because they kind of throw you off in the question, don't they? Because essentially, when this thing refocuses, it says, this is $441 less than the cost of a 2015 ticket. So that's important for us to realize that it's saying that the 2015 ticket is going to be more than the 2010 ticket. And then obviously, what do we want to know? How much was a ticket in 2015? Alright. So we have X, we have an equal sign. Help me fill this in. What do you think, Jonathan?
X plus 441 equals 3,059.
No. And why is it not plus? Why is it not plus in our original problem? So he said it's gonna be X plus 441 equals 3,509. Because ultimately, what are we about to do in order to figure out what X is? What are we gonna have to do here? Subtract. That's gonna give us a smaller number than 3,500, right? And we just discussed that the cost of the ticket in 2015 is more than the cost of the ticket in 2010. So what do we have to do? We have to subtract it. Alright, and then when we go through our process, we're going to, what do we have to do in order to figure it out? Figure out what X is, what do we have to do? Jeva, sit up. What do we have to do, guys? So if this was the equation, and this was the equation, and I didn't have any of this up here, how do we solve this problem? Haley, how would I solve this problem? So I'm gonna do the opposite, right? So yesterday y'all said this was super easy, right? So why do I have the same 3 people again participating? Nothing's changed. Or I guess one thing's changed. What changed?
It's just a word problem.
It's a word problem. And what happens when we do word problems? We what? What'd you say?
So our brains get messed up.
Exactly. Your brain goes whoop, and you lose it, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is the hardest thing ever. Once we get through this part and we get this set up, every hand should be up, right? Because this is the easy part. Solving the equation is the easy part. Writing it is a little bit more difficult. So yes, we are gonna add 441 here. That cancels. Then we're gonna add 441 there. Stand up when you have your answer to that, please. Alright, Leo, what was your answer back? 3,950, you said? So x equals 3,950. Now, how do we check to make sure this is correct? What do we need to do? Mikhail? Make it really simple. What do I need to do with 3,950? Subtract it, but even at that, what do I need to do with the number 3,950? What do I need to do? Zoe? Yes, plug it back in, substitute it in. Get used to those words because you're gonna see those words on your tests, on your quizzes, on your reviews. Okay, so we're going to substitute this in. Do our subtraction. And we get 3,509. Alright, so we know that we did this correct. So a ticket in 2015 cost $3,950. Which is obnoxious.
I just want to put my TV.
Exactly. In the comfort of my home, eating my favorite snacks.
Yeah, then you also gotta spend money, which is probably overpriced for food there too.
Right. Alright, so let's go ahead and slide over to number 3. So now it says, read each question, define a variable, write an equation, solve the missing. Alright? I'm going to attempt to zoom in just a teeny bit. Let's hope it doesn't mess it up.
Explosion.
Alright. Alright, the class average on test 1 was 84. The class average on test 2 was 8 points lower. What was the class average on test 2? Alright, so first and foremost, let's annotate our word problem, what's important. In that first sentence, class average on test 1 was 84. So, okay. Excuse me. The class average on test 2 was 8 points lower. Mikhail? Make sure you have test 2 in there. Alright, and then what was the average on test 2? Alright, so our variable, and this is where it gets a little bit weird, is class average test 2. Now this equation is a little bit different because a lot of times we don't have our equation end up like this. But there are going to be a few today that you encounter where it's going to be that your variable ends up being your answer. Alright, so we would write our equation as 84 minus 8 equals x. Not all the time does it happen and play nice, but sometimes it does. Alright, and then from here, how do we solve and check? What do we need to do first? William?
Subtract 8 from 84.
Okay, so 84 minus 8. Raise your hand. What does that give me? Ronnie?
76.
76. So we're saying x equals 76. How do I know that that is correct? Well, I know that is correct because I just did math. So never mind. Alright, so x equals 76.
Mm-hmm. And you can check it by adding 8 back.
Right, and you can check it by doing 76 plus 8 if you want, but I don't want you to get too confused because technically plugging 76 in is putting it in as the answer, and that's what we got for our answer. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, let's look at number 4. It says a Jaguar XJ220 is 41 miles per hour slower than a Bugatti Veyron, which can travel 253 miles per hour. How fast does the Jaguar XJ220 travel? Alright, what's important? What's important here? Kylie?
The Jaguar XJ220 can travel 41 slower than the Bugatti, which can travel 250 miles per hour.
Okay, and Bugatti can travel 250 miles an hour. And then, what's the last thing that is important? What's the question? What are we trying to figure out? What are we trying to figure out? Isaac?
How fast the Jaguar goes?
Yes. Alright, so essentially the variable is the speed of the Jaguar. So what is our equation essentially gonna look like? What do you think, Aiden?
253 minus 41.
Yes. 253 minus 41 equals x. So again, this is one of those ones that play a little bit nicer. Alright, and how do we figure out what x equals? William?
Subtract 253 by 51.
51 or? 51 or 41?
41.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm-
Okay. Alright, so you should have gotten 212 is the speed of the Jaguar. And that's what x equals.
Yep.
Alright, number 9 and number 10 are very similar as in the setup for their equation as 1 and 2. Okay, so essentially for 9 and 10, you're gonna be just subtracting the two numbers and your variable is gonna be your answer. For 5, 6, 7, and 8, you're gonna have to write the equation and then solve it from there. Kinda like we did over here in our practice. Alright, do you wanna do one more together? Okay, which one do you guys wanna do? You can pick from 5, 6, 7, or 8.
7.
8.
7.
8.
Alright, stand up if you wanna do 5. Okay, stand up if you wanna do 6. Stand up if you wanna do 7. What's so scary about 7?
7, 8, 9. And well, today's Aiden's birthday, and that's the
Oh,
7th.
that's true. Today's Aiden's birthday. Which one? You want to do 7? All right, we'll do 7.
Today's the 7th.
All right. So this really weird named skyscraper in Dubai is 2,722 feet high. The KYLT TV mast in North Dakota is the tallest U.S. building, measuring 659 feet shorter than the Dubai skyscraper. How tall is the KYLT TV mast? Alright, so what's important in the first sentence? Cristiano, sorry.
The vertically point, a skyscraper in Dubai is 2,722 feet high.
Okay. What's important in that next sentence? The next sentence, what's important? Camden?
KYLTTV.
Mast?
What?
The little like tower thing?
Yeah.
Okay. How tall is that?
659 feet shorter than the Dubai skyscraper.
Okay. And then what's important in that last sentence? Stop it. Aiden.
How tall is the KYLT-TV next?
Alright. So what are we trying essentially? The variable is kind of what are we trying to find? What are we trying to find? No. Okay, and then what is our equation gonna look like? What do you think our equation is going to look like? I can't hear anything you're saying, Sam. Baby, I can't hear you.
2,722.
No. This is not one where you're gonna subtract 2,722 from 590 or 59. This is not one of those. Your variable is not going to be your answer. Okay? So with that being said, what do we think our equation looks like? 2,722 is the total of what? What is that number representing in our problem? Emma?
The Burj Khalifa skyscraper.
Right, so that's essentially is our total. So where is that gonna go in our equation?
Past the equal sign.
Right, so 2,722 equals, and then we have x, and then are we doing subtract, or are we doing plus? So you're saying x plus 559, or 659, yes. So that is your equation. So from here, what do we do? So now that we have our equation written, we gotta figure out how tall the mass is of whatever. So what do we do here, looking at just our equation? We gotta have more hands, y'all. Alright, Zoe.
You subtract 659 from 2,722.
Okay, and then when you subtract, stand up when you have your answer. Stand up when you do your work. So 2,722 minus 659. Stand up when you have your answer. Alright, Troy, what was your answer, babe?
What I got for 2,722 minus 659 was 2,023.
2000. What was your answer?
2023.
Not 23. It's 2,000 something 3. Olivia? 63. And then, real quick, how should we go about checking this? Because we do want to make sure that we did our math right. Plug it back in. So I'm going to do 2,063 plus 659. And I get 2,722. That's the weirdest looking two I've ever written in my life. So x equals 2,063. Alright. So for 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, you are working with your teammates. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to work on those. We are going to go over them together, just so you have good examples today. You have to annotate, whether you annotate with pencil or you annotate with a highlighter or whatever, that's completely up to you. But show your work, just like we did for these 3 and these 2 over here. Show your work, okay? go ahead, get started if you have no further questions. That means you're talking and working together.
So what's the barrier?
Emma and Isaac.
Just need your, iPad.
Aiden, why don't you join this group? And Ronnie, why don't you join this group, so I can keep an eye on you?
What's your barrier? That doesn't make it one. So that's not connected. What's the difference?
We have 10 minutes. Our time's probably
Oh, that's right.
You're trying to find out. Wait, it'd be 150 X plus $2. No, man. But that's not what it is. Wait, so you have to. Yeah, I know. You did the same equation as you. No, you're supposed to subtract. On here. It's on here. Just because you get a calculator doesn't mean it. It all depends on it. Add or subtract. If you do the question, so if you add or subtract, you're going to get either the right or the wrong answer. The right answer is subtracted. The wrong answer is addition. Wait, so it's the same equation, so how do we combine because I answered out the 150 that I subtracted.
So why did you not answer that one? Oh, never mind. I
The same answer.
Nah.
Oh, perfect. Oh, yes.
No, I'm not done. I'm asking a question.
Yeah.
Because you have to do opposite.
Alright.
It's only because you get birthday powers.
Alright. Not with solid.
The math teacher said.
So whoever you got
Alright, let's go ahead and go over these. So pencils are down, move back to your original seat if you did move. Alright, so looking at number 5, it says a fence surrounds 2 sides of the backyard. The total length of the fence is 86 feet, with the longest portion measuring 51.5 feet. What is the length of the second side of the fence? So what is our variable? What are we looking for essentially? Troy?
length of the second side.
Okay, and then what did our equation look like? Delilah?
X plus 51.5
Perfect. And then what did you do to solve this problem? Huh?
I subtracted.
Mhm.
80, well, you have to add a 0, so I did 86.0 minus 51.5. And I got 34.5.
Alright. And then to check it, what did you do?
I plugged it in.
So you did 34.5 plus 51.5, and you ended up with 86. Alright, good job. How did we do with that one? Everyone get that? Okay. Alright, number 6 says in 1990 the average school lunch cost was $1.50 and it costs $2.85 more today. How much does the average lunch cost today? Aiden, what's your variable? What are you looking for?
Average school lunch cost today.
What was your equation?
X subtract x minus 1.5 equals 2.85.
Alright, what did you do to solve this problem?
I added 1.5 to make that go away, and then I added 1.5 to 2.85.
And you got?
$4.35.
Alright, and how did you check that?
I subtracted $1.50 from $4.35.
Alright, good job. How did we do with that one? I know there was some debate with this one with his group, but he was right.
Y'all got it wrong. Be quiet.
Alright, we did number 7, so let's look at number 8. Your little sister is too small to stand on the scale. You decide to get on the scale with her and find your combined weight to be 112 pounds. You know that you weigh 94 pounds. How much does your sister, how much does your little sister weigh? Alright, what are we looking for? What's the variable? William?
How much did your little sister weigh?
Okay. And what was your equation?
112 minus 94 equals X.
No,
Shouldn't it be
this is not one that you can do that way. Camden?
112 plus 94.
Nope.
Can't do that.
Remember, I said 9 and 10 are the only ones that you can write your equation with the two numbers together.
Yep.
Kaylee? Alright, so it should be x plus 94 equals 112. Alright, what do we do to figure out what x equals here? And what do you get when you do 112 minus 94? And how do you figure that out? Like, what do you do with 18 to make sure you're right? So 94 plus 18 equals 112. Now, Camden, I know you're tripping out because you're like, that's right, I did it right. But you gotta write the correct equation.
I know. I wrote a different equation, but got the same answer.
You're right, and you should get that. Like, if you did 112 minus 94, you should get 18, right? Because ultimately, what did we do to figure out our answer?
you did 112 minus.
Right, but I want you to write the equation correct. But yes, you are correct. You do 112 minus 94. So I don't want you to think that you're wrong. I just wanted you to understand like that wasn't the right equation.
You need a different equation.
Okay. All right, number 9. It says the average precipitation in Portland, Oregon is 35 and 98 inches. Scottsdale, Arizona has an average precipitation of 10 and 3200 inches. What is the difference in the two cities' average annual precipitation? So your variable is finding the difference in their precipitation. So what does your equation look like in this one? What do you think it's going to look like?
Like numbers 1 and 2.
Yes. So what is it going to look like?
35.98 minus 10.32.
All right, and then if you didn't get this far, go ahead and solve 35 and 98 hundredths minus 10 and 32 hundredths. Give me a thumbs up when you have your answer. Thumbs up when you have your answer.
Do you want us doing a minus or?
No, you have to do the minus because of where the variable is. Your variable is your answer, so you have to minus.
Okay. Well, do you want us to put like a plus and then do the minus thing?
No, baby, because you're by solving the problem, you're getting the answer. So you don't have to plug it back in and check it or anything. Again, thumbs up when you have your answer. All right, Jonathan, what did you come up with? Wait, what? Wait, 16? 60? No, not 60. Gemma?
25.66.
Yes. All right, so x equals 25 and 6,600 inches. All right, number 10, the last one on your handout today. It says the high school dance has the high school dance team has 88 members and 17 of them hold a position on the student council as well. How many members are on the dance team but not on the student council? All right, so obviously our variable is the dance team only. And what is our equation going to look like? Camden?
X plus 17 equals 88.
No. This is special, just like number 1 and number 2, so your variable is gonna be your answer for this one. Olivia? 88 minus 17 equals x. All right, and then how do we figure out what x equals? Or thumbs up when you figure out what x equals. Wyatt, what'd you come up with? What's your answer when you do 88 minus 17? Huh? Okay, so finish it up and tell me what you get. Yes, 71 is correct. So x equals 71. All right, you're going to glue this paper into your notebook on that page that you just created. Then on the next page, you are going to write adding and subtracting one-step equation practice problems. Now, the half sheet that I just passed out to you is your exit ticket. That is what you're working on. When you're done with your exit ticket, you're coming to me and you're getting your practice problems that are essentially going to go in on this page. If you do not finish your practice problems today, they are homework. Okay? Questions? Questions about what you're doing? All right. Get to it then.